The Joe Rogan Experience.
You know who used to do that at the roast was Greg Giraldo.
Yes.
He would go out and he would just say the shit that even at a roast you'd be like, oh, fuck. And he'd go up first while people hadn't even had drinks yet. You know what I mean? Like he said, iced tea, you're so old you used your first residual check to buy your freedom. It's like, Jesus, buddy. Like, that would be like his opening joke.
Oh, my God.
It was like 5:30 on a Sunday. It was like, homie.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
His fucking...
He's your first residual. Oh, my God.
Like, he would just come so hard. And the audience wouldn't even know what to do. But that's something he was so fucking unbelievable at.
Greg and I were on TV at the same time, and we were right next to each other on the lot at Gower, Sunset and Gower.
Yeah.
I was news radio, and he had his own show for a bit. And his show was right next to my show, and we would hang out, you know, because we're both guys from New York that were from the East Coast at least that were doing comedy, and we're out here like thinking, oh, this is crazy, you know, and I never thought he would die like that. Like when he died of a drug overdose, I was like, Greg?
Well, he had been sober, yeah.
What happened? He went to a party and someone gave him some shit. And
I mean, it's so tricky when I get worried. I'm like a fucking mom about this shit. What my guy, you know, anyone goes on the road and you're getting shit. You don't know how strong it is. You're getting it from random people. I think he had been sober and his tolerance was low and just tried to go back to what had.
Is that what it was?
I think so. But I don't know all the details.
That fucking need for escape. The need for the pill thing.
Does it feel like, though, in general, comics are getting healthier? Like you saw the days when everyone was on blow and everyone. It feels like everyone's now on Jamba Juice and on it and kombucha and. The
real problem is,
I can't imagine drinking on stage
because of that. You know, I mean, I don't.
Maybe like we've definitely lost our balls.
Some people think that. In order to be a comedian, you have to be at least a little bit self-destructive, like the great ones.
You have to have good stories. How else are you going to get good stories?
Yeah.
I started going to therapy, and I was like, fuck, what do I talk about? Paying my mortgage on time? This isn't funny.
It's a problem when you become wealthy, right? You don't have any fear of, you know, your bills are paid.
When you stop doing desperate shit and making mistakes, you just have less interesting stories, certainly.
There's that, but it doesn't always have to be stories, right? But I also think its perspective gets very skewed when you live a life of leisure.
Yeah.
You know, when you live a life of leisure and comfort and privilege, which most wealthy comedians do, that's when they all start to suck. Yeah. Like when comedians they have a few good years. Like they make it and they have like one or two good specials and then they have some that just get sloppy.
Because you think they just don't have to fight as hard. Or I think a lot of times I hear, you know, people will schedule their special. They're like, I'm shooting a special next March. It's like, have you written it? Like you schedule it before you're finished with it.
Well, that's the Eddie Murphy thing.
Oh, really?
You know, Eddie Murphy just got a $70 million deal. He hasn't done stand-up in 30 years. So like how many times is he going to... Look, I think, first of all, just... as an aside, or just to start this off, I'm not bashing him. I'm a giant Eddie Murphy fan.
Me too.
If anybody who thinks that Eddie Murphy should do stand-up again, it's me. And I've even talked about on this podcast that he did some speech on a podium where he was talking about how bad Bill Cosby fucked up because he had to give his awards back. You know, and
shit! I haven't seen it.
It was a hilarious segment. It's hilarious, and I was like, God damn, his timing is so good. Like, I wish he would do stand up again. He
was at the Comedy Store walking the halls a couple times on Tuesdays. This was like a couple years ago.
Really?
And he just walked in, and he just like looked like he was on a people mover. He would just like float through the hallways, and you know the hallways. It's like fucking Beirut in those hallways, and everyone would just get super quiet. And they're like, is that fucking Eddie Murphy? They're scouting.
He hasn't done stand-up in 30 years. That's how goddamn... Like, you know, as nice as, look, Tim Allen is, Tim Allen hasn't done stand-up in forever either. But if he walks by, everybody's, oh, that's that guy from Home Improvement.
Yeah.
You know, they're not, like, freaking out that he's there. He was so good during Delirious. Like, when we were kids, you'd watch that. He was so goddamn good that... Today, I mean, even the legend of it just carries on.
I mean, the real question is when he comes back, are people going to start tearing apart his old specials and saying he's 100%. Homophobic and he...
Oh, yeah. What's
that going to look like?
Well, people are going after people for George
John
Takei.
Wayne. John Wayne.
Oh, yeah, that's the best one.
He's canceled.
He's canceled.
Like, okay.
He's been dead for decades.
Okay.
He's not woke enough in the 70s. He said bad things about black people or something.
No, well, there's shit now where it's like Picasso's canceled.
He's canceled.
Yep, Picasso's Bukowski's canceled.
Wasn't that the fucking
Bukowski was
Hannah Barbera, whatever her name is? What's her name? Hannah Gadsby? She had a fucking thing about Picasso. Like, hey, baby, you got to let that go. That was a long time ago.
And he admitted, I mean, it's like, that's the other thing, is all these people who put their mental illness and struggles on they would probably agree with us that they were fucked up.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Like Van Gogh was shitty to his subjects. It's like,
yes.
I mean, you see it in his work.